FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today's October 11th, 2017. So it appears, at least if you believe the Census Bureau, that middle class has rebounded. The American middle class earning more income than ever before. Is it too good to be true? Well, before we get started, email us at kl@kerrylutz.com, and we answer all emails. Right now, Don Mazzella, veteran newsman, is with us. Don, it's good to have you back on. So you think that the news of the middle class's rebound is greatly exaggerated, or you think it's true?
Well, it's interesting. John Crudell of the New York Post, amongst other publications, has for years chronicled how the Census Bureau has been riddled by political and financial shenanigans. And this is another one of them. Subsequent to the time that you got that, and I tweeted about it, we've come to realize that the numbers might be bogus. I hate to put cold water on everybody's optimism. Interesting. There's a new regime sweeping into the Census Bureau, as in many other parts of the government after 8 years of President Obama. And one of the things they found about that study was that it was designed to go out a couple of weeks before the general election, but was somehow held off by some of the people inside the Census Bureau who questioned the validity of the numbers, and they're still questioning the validity of the numbers. However, having said that, the first raw numbers that they're getting for 2017 are indicating that that's happening. Now, I'm saying that not because I'm an adherent of President Donald Trump or anyone else, but simply trying to report. You may or may not be aware that a lot of the data from the Census Bureau for the past 5 years of the last 5 years of the Obama administration was fraudulent at the worst and suspect at the best. So I'm shocked.
Don, I'm shocked. How could they do such a thing? You mean deceive the American public? Why would any politician do that?
Well, I always love coming on your program because I always get a good laugh out of you, out of what you say, because it's true. We have an election coming up here in New Jersey for governor, and the Democratic candidate has been even the papers that are for him are beginning to call him less than truthful, and Pinocchio was what one paper called him today.
Can't believe
and that's the worst. That's the worst thing you could ever call a politician. But having said all that, clearly the numbers on small business, the numbers on the middle class are going up. If for no other reason is they couldn't go any lower than they had been over the last 8 years. But clearly the numbers are showing that if you are working, and don't forget there are still a lot of people who have given up looking for a job, the salaries are starting to rebound. The average work week has gone up slightly. The average salary has gone up slightly in data in the week-to-week reporting. And they are all good signs that the economy is slowly resolving itself from the period where regulations were overwhelming small business, which still represent at least 66% of the GNP, and represent. Interesting, I saw a statistic. People involved with or owning SMBs represent 78% of the GNP in terms of wages and take home, etc. Which tells you if they're hurting, the economy hurts. But if the census and other numbers are correct, it would appear that we are on an upward curve, which we need to be.
Well, so you think it's really happening as a result of fundamentals in the economy, or is it psychological because obviously Trump is very pro-business?
Well, I don't think one is, you can have one without the other. It's a psychology of things. I always go back to the Franklin Roosevelt. When the banks were in trouble, went on the radio for the first fireside chat and said, "I give you my word, the banks are sound." And everybody believed him. Psychology. I know you weren't around by then of that time. Neither was I. But the point is, psychology has a great deal to do with it. But also, I really think people are hiring. People are talking about a tax cut, and the last time we had a major tax cut was in the Reagan administration, and that generated 25 years of growth. And I think that's going to happen. Whether that the new tax rate helps the rich, the middle class, or the poor, a tax cut is a psychological thing that says somehow or other there's more money in my pocket and I'm going to go out and do it. I just saw something come across my desk dealing with holiday sales. And everybody's predicting that holiday sales will be up 6 to 7% over last year. And obviously, they're saying that there'll be an increase in online buying, and combined, everything should be up. But the interesting number is small business sales in these various categories are only expected to be up 2 or 3%. So, you have a dichotomy. Somebody's going to be making money, but the question is who?
Yeah, and that's a good question. So obviously feel good. Everybody's, wants to feel better about the economy, about your life and all that. Are we engaging in a little bit of self-deception here?
No, a little self-deception doesn't hurt. It makes it a little easier to take some bitter pills, and we will have to take some bitter pills down the road. We've got Obamacare. The numbers that are coming out for what your health care is going to be for next year are really starting to take hold. 18, 19, even in some cases 31% increases. It's being eased somewhat because Obamacare, we still have the exchanges, et cetera, which are easing it. And also, we're seeing some very clever things being done by various insurance providers. But the thing is, the average deductible is $5,100. That means besides your premium, you're paying for a great deal of your whatever medical costs you incur during the year. And people don't realize that until it hits. And the first studies are coming out on that. And I'll give you an interesting statistic, or it's actually two. Don't forget, about 10% of the American public uses about 91% of the medical resources. But the average usage of medical resources, dollars paid out of pocket, went from about $400 to almost $800 last year alone. Why? Because the average deductible skyrocketed to that $5,000 plateau. And then you and I both have been advocates of HSAs. It now makes it, if you don't have an HSA, you're stupid. Because, and I use that word, stupid, because you can save yourself an awful lot of money and build for your retirement. And that's the other thing. There's a poster, a billboard near my house that says you spend more time planning your vacation than your retirement. Most Americans do. And you know what? They're absolutely right. And I know this program does a lot to help Americans. But if we don't start looking at putting away for our retirement, we're all going to be working until we're 80. And I don't know about you, but these creaky bones can't take it.
Yeah, well, I got a little while to go, but the longer you go on...
You may, but not me.
Yeah, the longer you go on, the harder it gets to keep up the pace. Obviously, energy levels, such as things as that. So where does it all end here? Are they going to get rid of Obamacare, or is it here forever?
You know, how are you going to keep them down on the farm once they've seen parity?
Yeah.
You remember that old ditty?
Yeah, I remember.
The point being that the Democrats have succeeded in doing it. It's going to be near impossible to totally obliterate Obamacare. I thought it was possible, but as long as you have the various cross currents we have in Washington, it's going to be very difficult. If you had asked me 4 months ago, I would have said yes. But if the Republicans controlling the House, the Senate, and the presidency can't do it, when are they ever going to do it?
Good question. When are they ever going to do it? And the answer is they will do it when they have absolutely no choice but to do it. And I think we're getting to that point now. The president said many times that Obamacare is imploding. And based on the numbers that you just mentioned there, Don, yes. It is imploding, right?
No doubt. I mean, when you have 15, 16, 17% increases, and if you remember President Obama, he said it was going to reduce the costs. His main plan and those of his allies was to make it so bad that a single-payer government system was the answer. Well, we know what happened. I'm old enough to remember when they first introduced Medicaid, and my mother was on it. And, we went from $5 doctor visits to $300 doctor visits. What is it now? 1/6 of our GNP is tied up with the health services, and we simply when it becomes 1/2, or I think it's 40% of government in England, and the quality of care is still not there. When you see an English movie and you see everybody in those open wards, and will Americans take it? I don't think they will.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Well, so what's the solution here? They've got to do something, right? I mean, we're at the point where it's getting critical, if you will. It's on life support. They just keep pouring more and more money down the drain, or do they take some action?
A politician by nature doesn't want to take action. I mean, here, Mayor de Blasio in New York's faced with a revolt about Christopher. He can't even say whether he was for or against having a statue of Christopher Columbus removed. A politician is going to act on whether we're going to stop pouring money into Medicare and Obamacare. After a while, you begin to wonder whatever happened to men of courage who are leaders.
Yeah, well, they're not in Washington now. We know that's for sure, right?
Yeah, and they're even. I covered Harry Truman in one of his birthday walks when he was after he was the president, and there was a man that took the heat. They always talk about he was a failed haberdashery owner, but by golly, he made decisions, and even if they were against popular opinion, firing MacArthur, etc. But we seem to have politicians on both parties that seem to be just concerned with keeping their jobs rather than leading the nation. Worries me.
Funny how that works, huh? Well, hey, I'm inclined to agree with you, but we got a lot of other things in the country. Don, if people want to find out more about you, check out your work, where do you go?
DonMazzella.com or recalculating.biz. Those are the two major places, and there's my phone ringing in the background.
Okay.
But anyway, there you can learn everything about us. We have to invite you on our recalculating program, Kerry.
Sure.
Because you really, your program really puts it where it should be, and that's why I always enjoy coming on it.
All right. Well, we'd love to have you on. Any questions, comments for Don or myself? Email us kl@kerrylutz.com. Don, we will sit back and see what happens.
Enjoy it. Have a good day.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.